Okay, so May 31st, 2025. This is a God moment. Do you see this lid? Look at that lid. It fits really nice on this little frying pan that I bought for Amari. Look at that little frying pan. Yeah. I wasn't too sure if I could find one because, you know, things are so scattered around the house, right? It's hard to get to things sometimes. This is the one that I really like. But it's just, you know, I'm still going to use it. But in size comparison, you can see there's a big difference. Right? So, this morning, I was looking for some lids and I stuck my hand in one spot and voila. Right? Look at that one. That one fits nice. I like making his meals with these lids, right? Because it slow cooks. Okay? Very nice. And then I've got those little cast iron ones there. But I just wanted to show you that. I'm so pleased with this. And it's a fair, it's you can put a lot in here. This is nice. Like really nice. Yeah. Okay. So I'm in my room. What a chore, people, I tell you. The reason I showed you that little beautiful, it's an 8-inch enameled cast iron frying pan for Amari. It didn't come with a lid. And I was so hoping, so hoping that I'd find a nice glass lid for that. And I was so hoping that I wouldn't have to dig for it in terms of looking here, looking there, knowing I have it over there, but it can't get to it because of that, or whatever, right? But I bought it anyway. And I'm like, okay, don't worry, you'll find a lid for it, right? Because you got a lot of glass lids, eh? For different reasons, right? I might even find one that's even going to fit better than that one, but this one right now is fitting pretty good, and I'm really happy with it. Like, you don't even know how ecstatic I am. I'm so excited, I can't wait to use it. Okay, so, you know, I got up this morning, right, and like, oh my God, I tell you, I don't know what the hell this eye doctor did. Now, mind you, 2 days ago, you know what happened to me 2 days ago? I'm washing dishes. You know, I made potato salad, whatever, day before or whatever. So I'm washing the pot, right? Big ass pot, you know, it's fair size, right? I put it in the rack. Anyway, go about my business. I come back to the sink. It was got dirty water in it, right? Because I've been washing, right? You know, things soaking in it, whatever, right? You know, I just finished doing the pot, like not even 15 minutes ago. And I'm standing there, and I'm getting ready to do something, and I guess I knocked the pot, and the bloody thing, I'm telling you, it fell into the dirty dishwater, and all that dishwater went whew, right into my eyes. Both of them. Oh my God. That's the thing about going blind when things are coming at you like that. Like if I'm working in the yard and there's a twig and you know and it wink, right? Or I stick and I bend down to do something and it right, it just barely sometimes misses me. Oh my God. Yeah, like when I was out there when the city had us out there in the rain and the mud and freezing weather. Right, and the mud, I was having to do the ground, right? My God, and this mud was splashing in my face, into my eyes, into my actual eyes. Because you don't see it coming, right? It just, right? So, yeah, swoosh. Oh, both eyes wide open with fucking dirty dishwater went flying, and this was like 2 nights ago. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday. It was either Wednesday or it was Thursday. Anyway, I washed my face as best as I could with water. Oh my God, people, I got up this morning and I so struggle with this shit. And I'm like, Judy, don't get discouraged. No. You're still managing, right? It's just hard, that's all. and I'm depressed because I gotta go hunt for this lid where thinking I might not be able to find one, because the one I have in mind, I know what it's on, but I don't remember. It's a crock pot with a, right? With a lid on it, glass lid, see-through glass lid that would probably fit that frying pan, but I know that, but I don't know where that crock pot is at this point. And so, and I'm like, no, just go look. You look in the oven first, see what you can find, even if it's a metal lid. No metal lids fit. And then I got underneath my little cubby looking for something and I thought I maybe got lucky. No, didn't find it. But I organized it in there, so that was okay. So I managed to do that. And I'm like, okay, Judy, just take a chance. Just because I have another shelf with pots and pans in them and lids and whatever, but I can't get to it because I've got shit in front of it, right? It's up by the back door. Right. And I'm like, but you can stick your hand in that one little part, right? Where take a chance. That's what I told myself. As I'm discouraged with my eyes and just everything, right, in general. And convincing myself not to give up, right? And I just keep plugging away at whatever it is that you're doing in a day. What are you doing today, Nana? Well, I don't know. Working in the hall, doing a little bit of kitchen. Obviously, I've spent a fair amount of time in my room because I've basically been in this one corner going through whatever this girl did, and boy, did she ever really mix up a whole lot of crap in here. But besides that point, and I'm like, take a chance, just stick your hand in there, because I have a cloth over it to keep the dust out, right? And feel around and see what you can find through feel, right? So I stick my hand in there, and almost the first thing that I grabbed was that lid. I grabbed it. Oh, that's a glass lid. Oh, that doesn't seem too big. That might be just the right size. Pull it out. Come on. I pull it out. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this just might fit. I go to the frying pan. I put it on, and it fits like a T. So that, to me, was a God moment, because, I was so discouraged when I got up this morning that it's not because, well, lots of things discourage me. But eyes is the first thing on the list, right? That's obviously the big one, eh? That's a different kind of whip on your back. That is, I don't know what going blind really means, other than people will take advantage of you. Well, yeah. They will take advantage of you and abuse you and just whatever. Disrespect you and steal from you and whatever. Okay, so, ooh, that's bright. Okay. I want to show you here what I'm doing. I don't want this to run out. You can just listen to me in the dark. Okay, YouTube will make it even darker, right? Okay. Because I don't want to be showing you and then the flashlight goes out, right? Okay, so what was I talking about? This lid. Oh, just stick your hand in there, Judy. Come on, take a chance. You've got something in there. You just might get lucky and find it. And sure enough, pretty much the first thing I grabbed, that was it. And I'm looking, oh yeah, perfect. Thank you, God. Like, God forbid. Like, I was feeling so crappy and now I feel so good, right? Because, I guess you could say something was working in my favor, right? And it just reinforced that I made the right decision by buying that little frying pan and what I'm going to use it for, which is basically for Amari, right? Because, Andre and I were trying really, really hard to give him more calories, but comes with the heavier calories with the macaronis and those kind of more meat. He gets more constipated, and if you give him, oh my God, and then you pump him up with a bunch of spinach and all this other crap. Next thing you know, he's got the fucking runs, because you got the plums in there too, and, it's so hard to get this balance with him, man, and anyway, so, either or, it's a great little frying pan, and it was a God moment for me to, I guess you could say, just keep plugging along and try not to get discouraged with the things that, bother you. Eyesight is one of them. That's the top of the list. And then couple of other things is, I don't know, people. Tisha didn't want me to say anything, but she asked me to borrow money from me on my credit card, of all things, so that I could give it to her for a down payment towards something that they want to buy, because they're going to be losing their apartment, just like everybody else around this province is losing their apartments, because they're going to tear them down, and then they're going to be forced into high rent, almost triple the amount, more than double the amount that they're paying now for what they've got. And she, you know, in terms of taking on the responsibility of me and Amari, she can't afford it. Yeah, she can't afford it. So she won't share a house with me and help. I tell Andre, you know, the ones that actually help me, Uncle John, Sierra, she liked to clean and cook all the time. And Shmay, she'd help me with paperwork, and she supported me in my decisions, and you know, she was she would be helping me now. She wanted to learn how to can. She was just starting to learn how to can before she was murdered, and you know, I still got a jar of her pickles around here. But the three of them were the ones that, out of everybody, were more apt to help me. Whereas, like with my grandmother, she only had my mom. My mom was the only one that would really help my grandmother and do things for my grandmother, while the rest of her 4 kids just wanted money, basically. They didn't like helping her. They wanted everything on the cheap, because my mom, I guess, like my aunt got divorced, my uncles got divorced, and eventually they all came home and lived in the basement of my grandmother's house. But that was after my mother had her crew come in and build in a basement suite. It was my mother who did that for my grandmother, so that my uncles and aunts could move in underneath there in the basement and have their cheap rent. And then as soon as my grandmother decided to sell the house, they just wanted money. They expected money, and that's what they got. And they even took my mother's share. I've mentioned it before, because they were so greedy for money. Well, my kids are kind of like the same way in terms of the last 2 remaining. Can't say Brooks, he doesn't really expect much from me. Maybe something when I'm dead in the house. He'll show up and take something, but it won't be much, I don't think. And he never asked me for money or anything, right? You know. So, I mean, he's always been independent, so he's still, I guess, independent in that kind of way, right? Whereas Mark Hain wants me to borrow him money to put a down payment on a house so that, you know, he can house us. Because him and Marina want to buy a house. But, you know, he's feeling kind of responsible for me and the kids. But it's not with, I don't want to say love, because I'm sure he loves me to one degree or another. Marina doesn't. She can't stand me, people. Like, I told my son, like, don't expect me to live with you when I can't even get along with Marina. It doesn't make sense. And then you want to lock me up into a bedroom with Amari because that's all you can afford. Expect me to give everything away in the house so that you can stuff me into a room. I told him I already had that dream, Mark Hain. It ain't happening. Right? And that's not what I need with Amari and myself. No. You know, my room, wherever my room is, it's going to be a pantry, basically, in the end. And then when I go, what they do with it, I suppose, is their business. If they want to be foolish and throw that away too, like with half of everything else that they've thrown away that I own, right? Then I hope for their sake they never go hungry. But in the meantime, I can't give neither one of them money for a down payment. Tisha says, oh, you can just give it to me as a gift. I said, no, I can't even do that, Tisha. Right? I gotta pay down my bills, for crying out loud, and prepare for when I gotta get out of this place, whether I can see or not. So now I'm thinking, well, maybe I should be thinking about, I don't want to say get a nanny, but rent out a room to somebody that can at least help me with maybe cheaper rent or something. But then what? Knock, knock, along comes Rhea again. Do you see how vulnerable I am? Tisha, oh, well, you don't really have a choice. I think you're just going to have to stick with Marcaine. But then guilt-tripping me because I won't give her fucking money and go into debt for it. And then fucking gaslighting me and trying to make me feel guilty for that. Even though when she first started out to ask, she said, oh, it doesn't hurt to ask, right, Mom? I said, no, it doesn't. What? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Well, I'll think about it. I don't know. Rhea put me for a spin. You know, any little money that I did have, I kind of got those monkeys off my back, and I racked up my, if there was any available money, blame it on your fucking friend for robbing me and making me feel like I had to spend $4,000 just to compensate for what she did on my credit cards. And then you want me to now just bring them right to max so that what? You could maybe might pay me back. Last time I gave her money, I gave her big lump sums 2 times, right? One I told her to keep, whatever. Second time, no, you know, because she hit me up, right? Whatever. Fuck, man. And then the second time, I gave it to her again. I said, but this time you have to give it back to me. Never happened. And then she gets, oh, anytime I come by and want to help, you're not wanting to do it, and blah, blah, blah. As if, yeah, I know. Well, in those days, I was watching the kids all the time, and I was tired, as if I want to watch those kids for 24 hours, and then you show up and all of a sudden want me to start bending and lifting and moving and doing whatever, so that in the end you can get all, right, because you're a minimalist and I'm not. Even though if shit hit the fan, you'd still come to my house looking for fucking food, whether you were mad at me or not. It wouldn't matter. I mean, what's in the best interest of the kids, right? So, you know, I can't win for fucking losing, man. Like, it's stupid. And I can't live with my son. So I told Andre we're going to look for, you know, a basement suite. At least a 2-bedroom. This way he can keep his cats. He doesn't want to give away his cats. Right? And I'm not going to be a sitting duck to whatever with my son and somebody who doesn't like me. I'm not. So that's another thing that holds me down. Because I can't depend on my son and I can't depend on my daughter. The ones that I could have maybe depended on and would have gotten more help from are dead. There's nothing I can do to change that. Although I am thinking to take the Punjabi fucking temple to court. I think so. If I was to write another lawsuit, I think they need to go to court and explain themselves how they breed institutional racism within their ethnic fucking heritage as a so-called religion that's organized and participates in criminal activity. And evicting people en masse so that they can gain great fucking wealth for themselves is a crime. Because that's another thing that's on my head. Alright. That's another thing that's on my head. No point in barking up the tree with the frickin' provincial government. Right? You know, half of those politicians, people, they're not even real. All you have to do is think of that freaking coroner with Sierra. And if you've been watching my videos, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. So in the meantime, I'm trying not to worry about my eviction as a downer. Right? you know, and I'm trying to be, I don't know what, responsible, pay down my bills, so that if and when the shit hits the fan and I'm in another situation where the fucking bin shows up, right, and it becomes a freaking free-for-all, and I end up getting charged for more water because it was in the rainy season, oh my God. I need to have some hard cold cash, even if it's on a credit card, to get my ass out of here with things that are most important. Being that everybody around me thinks I should have nothing. Yeah, because if I let my son do it the way he wants to, I will have nothing. Andre will lose everything. Yeah, and I'll be abused along the fucking way. Right? I'll be called this, I'll be called that. Things will disappear behind my back. Right? Who knows? We already know, okay? It will just be terrible. It will be a very bad situation. We know that there's just no way Tisha is able to take on the responsibility of, I don't know, I don't want to say helping her mother, but that's basically what it boils down to. And because I won't give her money, now she's mad at me and she's not talking to me. What's fucking new? Yeah. So in the meantime, look at what I mean. That's what I mean. Like when I stuck my hand where the pots and pans were, I didn't know what I was gonna get. I just knew that there was something in there that might fit. And it was the first thing that I grabbed, and it fit perfect. So for me, that was a God moment. And that's what gave me the motivation to come in here. Now, where did I put the flashlight? Oh, go figure, eh? To come in here and to keep working on this freaking nightmare that this girl created for me. But it's slowly but surely coming along. Right? Now, since I'm looking for the flashlight, well, I'm feeling for the flashlight. Since being in this little corner here where I have had, some canned goods that, because she moved things around in here, right? And she put some of the jar, I'm pretty sure she walked off with some home canning. What she walked off with, I don't know, but I'm sure she took something because it was just too mixed up. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. How the hell did I lose the freaking flashlight? Now, you've seen me not go nowhere. Can you believe this? Oh, my Lord. This is pathetic. This is what frustrates you. Right? This is what makes you want to give up. But you can't. You just can't. Oh my God, I think I might have to turn off this camera while I find this thing. I didn't go anywhere. Wait, maybe it's up here. No. Oh, Lord, how could I have done this? Anyway. So yeah, God moment. It motivated me. Yeah. Here we go. It motivated me to get up in here and just keep plugging away at it. So, I'm going to show you. See that big gaping hole? What she had done is she had taken all these little miscellaneous things, stuff like this, and she just stuffed them all in there, which, no. The majority would be large jars like that, okay? What do we got here? 2 lights, maybe? Can you see? No, I don't like this flashlight. But it is what it is. You can see better than me. So basically, that's chicken from 2023, right down there. And then we've got some turkey broth. Those are old apple juices. maybe a plum in the back. And then, of course, down here, you know, I had to go through everything. Now, and I'm rearranging, so we got the fruits basically over there with some fruit juices and some plums and some, there's I think one thing of peach, two pears, whatever. So we'll try, and apples right there, which I will try and get to. I'm putting pickles, hot pickles, as I find them there. You can see that. And then here, what do we got here? What is that? That's a hot pickle. Right. Then you can see some canned tomatoes there. I'm telling you, canned tomatoes last forever. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and canned beans, too. Oh, they're so the canned beans are over there. And then we just got those there. I am, like, organizing, right? Oh, my God, I'm telling you. And then down there, I don't know, she found my pasta sauces. I don't know where she found them. They were out in the hall here. Why they ended up, well, because she was probably going to walk off with them and she couldn't take them. She forgot them or something. Anyway, I put them down there and they're holding up pretty damn good. So you can see what I'm doing here now, right? So I'm working on it, but it's not easy, I can tell you. It's not easy. But throughout this process, what I found in terms of, and this is, keep in mind, this is not the ideal pantry either, because in the summer months, it gets hot, right? Not as hot as the rest of the house, but, and I run this little fan. But besides that point, out of every jar that I checked in here, I had 2 large jars of plums pop. Now keep in mind, she was moving things around in there too, so who knows, right? I'm finding that a zucchini relish with obviously vinegar, right, doesn't seem to hold up for long-term canning. In terms of, if you canned it in 2014, 17, 18, it might not hold up till now. Whereas I've got beans in there that I canned in 2015 and they're still holding up. As a matter of fact, one is on my counter and we're going to get to them soon, right? As well as pickled beets and those kind of things. Certain things will hold really well in terms of their seals. But I found that the sweet relish really didn't hold up very well. Just for general information purposes. Now, pickles, yeah, I've got pickles in the kitchen, home canned, right? And we'll check into those again, and they're probably still fine. And they were done, well, some of them were done when Shimei was helping me. And that was before she was murdered in 2017. Yeah. And they're probably still okay. But you need to check these things every now and then. So yeah, and then there was some, a couple of apple butters from back in the day. Not too much, actually. It's been pretty good. It's been really good, actually, considering everything that's been going on in this room with the amount of these jars being moved around, and it's just, I like to know where things are in a general vicinity. So, that's why I'm sorting it out. So if I want tomatoes, I kind of know where they are. The fruit, if I need it or whatever. So yeah, I've been doing pretty good. I'm not even really shopping for anything. All I did was buy some fruit 2 days ago, basically. Different kinds of fruit for Amari because, we're giving him more macaroni, we're giving him more potato, larger portions of meat, and what do you think's happening? You can't win for losing. Right? Just can't win. And you're not putting on he's getting longer, he's strong. His left side is very strong, like he can boot you and whatever, and he moves around all the time, but still not putting on that weight. That's why I bought that little frying pan, right? And I was so wishing I could find a lid. And, as soon as this is pretty much done, then yeah, we're going to get into my little home can, 250 ml of the few jars that I have as I'm finding them, right? You know, when it came to specifically for amari, right? Yeah. Because I'm not going to open a whole jar of chicken. That's all chicken, people. Okay? And holding up, too. When did I can it? Now, something like that, you know what I'd do with it? I'll tell you what I'd do with it right now. You see? Oh, boy. I see better like this. 2022. Huh. Yeah. November of 2022. Oops. Oh, Lord. Look at that. Okay? You know what you do with this? I'll tell you what you do with this. You open it up. You put it in a pot. With a nice lid on it. Preferably a cast iron pot. Maybe add in a little extra water, just because. And then you bring it to a boil. And once it boils, you put your lid on, right? And you turn it down very low. And because it's a cast iron pot, you know, or any pot really, it doesn't matter as long as it has a lid. I like the heat of, okay, so, and then just so that you can hear it just with this, right? You cook it for 10 minutes, and then this way, if you do it that way on low boil with a lid, especially in a cast iron, it doesn't, it heats up, but it doesn't boil everything to slivers. You tend to be able to keep the shape of your meat, right? And then after that's done, you let it cool. And you can do one of two things. You can use it right away with something, whatever you're going to do, you know, in terms of, like, make gravy with the broth and blah, 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 or whatever. Or say you wanted to make a chicken pot pie, or, like, yeah, even chicken chowder, right? You know, chicken chowder. You make the vegetables and everything, and your chicken's already boiled off there, but it's still pretty much in chunks, right? You know, it's been, because you have to bring it to that boiling point and keep it at a certain temperature. That's why a cast iron is good for that, eh? To kill off botulism, right? In the event of that it might be there. It's always the might. And you can make your chowder, or if you're going to do chicken pot pie, you can get everything ready, and then at the very end, right, you just fold in. You don't stir it in. You just fold in your chicken pieces into whatever it is that you're going to do for a pot pie. Or if it's a stew, which is a little more runnier, right, in terms of, you know, it's more like a soup, right? Between a soup and a gravy versus a pot pie is more like a gravy, right? You just stir it in gently. After you've basically got your chowder ready. Your potatoes are cooked, your onions, your celery, everything. You've got your milk, creamy base broth, right? You can use a home canned jar of either turkey broth or chicken broth. I've got both. Right? I mean, for all I know, she could have ran off with full, because I don't really seem to have a lot of, and I know I did a fair amount of jars full of meat. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's turkey. When did I make this one? I can't see. I think it was 2023. Anyway, I'm putting it there. I'll grab a couple more. Right? I'm trying to decide what I want in here. so I don't forget. And then I'm going to start using it. Yeah. Maybe do some videos around that. And then the other thing that's bugging me in terms of being discouraged is, I don't know, people. I don't want to get stuck into a routine of propping up a community that, I don't know, in regards to, the children in Uganda. I feel like it's just another person who's locked me into a room and basically shut the door. Right? Hiding it away like a dirty secret or something. In terms of what I'm trying to do, in terms of... I sent Lady Jane an email, and I told her she needed to consider doing live streams with me through meet and greets so that we could establish more interest on the internet to the cause of helping the children without me being the sole sponsor to them. And being that there are more than 3 children in that community, then if we're going to do anything, we should be thinking about, setting up, working towards a program where they build in food security through some farmers co-op or something like that, where it's, you have the business, but you also have the charity, so that the ones that need assistance with food, for whatever the circumstances are, it's available versus waiting for a donation to come in from some foreign country. Because that's how broke the community is, apparently. Apparently. So I suggested crowdfunding after we did maybe a few live streams, assuming that we could even do them. Being that we're so far apart from country to country, right? So she didn't answer me back. That's what it feels like. Maybe she's thinking about it. I don't know. I told her that next time she goes to that neighborhood, because they have little DJs, they got not little DJs, but they got, like, I don't know, this little girl that cooks this rice balls. I guess she's working in like a gazebo type kitchen, if you want to call it that. And people that go wherever the DJ music is, because Lady Jane says she can't have the background of the music playing because of copyright. So she, whatever. Okay, I told her, just go straight to the fucking DJs and just go talk to them. Seriously, DJs are good people to work with. They're great. I love working with DJs. Oh, yeah. I told her, let's tell them that, you want to do a meet and greet, and that you're working on a charity initiative, and you want to help the community, right? In terms of if we can put together a crowdfunding for $10,000 to start a little program so that, the 3 children and whoever else can have food supplements, right? So for when people like me fall off the fucking grid, what is there? There's nothing. Wait for Lady Jane to show back up? Yeah, okay. Right? So, I don't know, people. It's depressing. She didn't answer me back, which tells me she doesn't want to do it. But yet, she does the follow-up on it when I give her the money, but it's kind of like going back to that feeling with Mama Peter. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to do something. You see, I think I have vision. You see, that's my problem. I'm a visionary, right? A visionist. I don't think there is such a word as called a visionist. You're a visionary, right? That's what the foundation was all about. And that's why I approach people the way I do, because all Lady Jane has to do is just be the catalyst to get it started. Right? Because it kind of boils down to, if you don't work for it, you don't get it. So the community themselves would have to learn to work for it in order for them to get it. And then once they get it, then they have to learn how to keep it, right? And manage it properly. They can't seem to do that by themselves, where Lady Jane could be that catalyst to start that process, right along with me in Canada as a at arm's length supporter to the cause of charity in a country that would benefit from kindness, people. But I don't know. So I don't know what to do. I can't go talk to the Africans next door because I mean, they're open, but I can't come with them with anything of substance. Now, if Lady Jane was to step up to the plate, you see, this is where, if she was, and actually spoke to those DJs down there, where those little children are, the next time I make a donation, if I do, because personally, I don't like being locked away like a dirty secret. She doesn't promote that channel. She doesn't encourage people to join that channel from her other channel. She doesn't even mention that channel on her other channel. It's like that, whatever, I don't know. Like, it's just off. But if I was to do another $100 donation, I'm sure Lady Jane would go back and give those children some food from the money that I gave for that reason. And she might even go talk to the DJs. She might. But if she did, you see, this is the thing, and they were willing to do a live stream, and if she's worried about copyright, I'm sure that they could pick music in advance that wouldn't get copyrighted, right? So that she could do her little live stream with me, so that we can garner her attention, so that maybe at some point in the future we can gather up some donations to help the community as a whole, so that I can go to sleep at night and rest at ease and not worry about small children starving because they're only eating a small meal once a day, because the 12-year-old girl who suddenly turned to be 14, I don't know how that happened, but anyway, I suppose it just looks good on YouTube that she's 14 versus 12, but besides that point, right? I mean, she's the sole breadwinner of a family with 2 younger siblings. Like, where are the adults? That's what I mean. Like, where the fuck are the adults? They'll come and they'll buy rice patties or rice balls from her, but they won't help her to be a kid? So if Lady Jane was to go, I'm just going to blink out this camera, right? And go talk to these DJs and say, hey, look, I got some bitch sitting up in fucking Canada that wants to rock and roll here. You know, bring in a little bit of something, you know. And if Lady Jane come back to me and say, oh yeah, okay, I talked to those dudes and they're all good for it, and you know what, let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can do live streams. Let's just talk, you know, just whatever. You know what I'm saying? Do it on the fly, like I do. When I do my park events and shit like that, it was on the fly. When I went off to Gateway Place and had the camera rolling, everything was on the freaking fly. Lady Jane needs to get up on the fucking fly here, because if she doesn't get up on the fly, it looks too staged. It really does. Especially when you lock away the video like a dirty fucking secret. And you don't even promote it on a channel where you've got 1700. I think it's 17, is it 17,000? Or, yeah, maybe 17,000. Or at least 1,700 fucking subscribers compared to 10. Right? And if those DJs down there want to rock, then I can hook them up with these DJs over here. Pretty sure I can do that. Because it's up their alleys. Right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. And they're kind of copacetic with me. Because I'm the only neighbor that goes and visits them every now and then. Right? I was going to give them all that shit that Rhea said that she was going to bring back. She took my winemaker kit that she was supposed to sell, didn't bring it back. Right? Took 2 sewing machines. I never gave them to her, but she didn't bring those back either. Right? The Betty Boo bags, I didn't bring them back. I had Time magazines that she was going to try and sell for me. She didn't bring them back. Right? I'm just saying. So, I didn't want the easel back, but, you know, I was waiting for them. And then I was going to give the sewing machines next door. And the winemaking kit next door. Ideally, I would like people to make a donation. You know, what's that? It's a sewing machine. Oh, well, can I have it? Yeah, but can you make a donation? Well, how much? It's up to you. It's a donation. $20. And then the DJ gives me the $20. Or they can just fucking email Lady Jane themselves and they can wire it through Western Union themselves if they don't trust me. And she'll confirm with me that they wired it to her from a sewing machine that I donated. But that bitch Rhea never came back with the sewing machine, so I couldn't do that. So they were open to take the sewing machines as a donation from me. They listened to me talk about Islam and Sudanese, and because I went there, last time I was there, I was sitting there talking to a man named Abdul, and we got into religion, and he was Islamic from Sudan or someplace like that. And we were getting all philosophical. Yeah. I said, well, you're like a pastor. You should be a pastor and mentor these guys on coming in and going into this place. Yeah. And they were copacetic. So yeah, I could approach DJ Jams and say, listen, we got some brothers sitting up in Africa and Uganda that want to rock. Bring in a little fundraiser to build up the community so that, you know, more children are not being left behind because of the poverty within the environment itself as a whole, as a community. You know, I don't think he'd turn me away on that one, especially if I hooked him up with somebody that he can communicate with. Hell, they might even speak the same language for all I know. Seriously. This is what I mean. Like, and you're locking me away like a dirty fucking secret. Like, this isn't a fucking joke, man. Like, it pisses me off. You know, I try so hard with the vision. You see, that's my problem. I have the vision. I can see between Africa and Canada. I can fill in the fucking gap. But no. People want to be in control. And they don't want to put the effort in. Or, you know, they just, I don't call it a waste of time. You know, it's not worth my time. Shut up already. So that's really depressing for me, people, because I'm not going to jump back up on that freaking bandwagon. Where I'm the sole freaking sponsor here to dependent children that technically should have the community rallying behind them. Seriously. So that hurts my feelings. It really does hurt my feelings for the children, right? Because I'm already under pressure, and you know, I need a pressure valve release, right? If I can work on bringing in the bigger initiative, connect people, work with people, right? Let people bring their own skills to the table. I do believe they could come together and put together a crowdfunding where we could put 10,000 hard cold cash into that community where those 3 children are. Oh yeah, I do believe that. But can't do it by myself. No. So in the meantime, I guess that's the end of this video. I'm almost done in this corner. You know, I don't know where my life is going to lead me. God forbid. If I stay with my son, he want me to get rid of everything. And he's going to isolate me down to a very small little area because that's all they can afford. And I'm at the mercy of Marina and my son. Basically. I'm not going to be at the mercy. My son says, oh, I told him that ain't happening. Oh, yeah, I know, you're just a renegade, Mom, right? And I said, fucking right, I'll be a damn renegade. And if I have to walk away, fight for it after I leave, then I'll fight for it after I leave. But I ain't going to fucking just let it be pulled out from underneath my feet and then locked away, waiting for me to die so they can look for money. Even as a poor woman. And Mrs. Gill wants to fool herself and think that her fucking family members don't love her just for the money that she can provide to them when she dies. I don't know what makes her think she's so special that she's going to have all this real, genuine, true, honest-to-God love for the human being of her before they go looking for that money when her time comes, because she got money, right? So it doesn't matter if you've got money or you don't got money, right? The kids always want money. So, you know. And I suppose the less that they have to do for you, the better it is for them, right? And usually the ones that help you are usually the ones who die first, because that's what happened to my grandmother. The one that helped her, my mother, she died. And then my grandmother was basically all on her own, and I was the one that was ending up helping her. She'd call me before she'd call anybody else. Oh, yeah. So, but I had to leave. I had to come to here and try and start a company. And that's another thing my kids do. Why didn't you buy a house? We, fucked up. And when I try and explain to them, like, do you know how difficult it is to raise 5 kids and then look after a blind man yet to boot as a single parent, right? Like, come on. You got 2 kids, Tisha. That's easy peasy. You live in an apartment, for fuck's sakes, right? And you haven't even moved once since you've had them. and Marcane and Marina have absolutely none, right? So, as if they've walked in my shoes. Okay. And plus, I wasn't allowed, right? When I was on welfare, right? And because I couldn't work, really, I was too busy, man, with Uncle John and everybody. That's why the foundation came. It was work at home. That was the only way I could work at home and try and ease in my sewing and build on my business. But that didn't happen because I moved in here and I became a slave to a yard that's being used against me, that puts fear within me. Every day I wonder when the shit's going to hit the fan, because I noticed across the street where the Africans are, they're putting up signs ready to help. The posts, they put up posts to hang up the for sale signs. So they're going to try and sell that little house that the Africans are in. Yep. And you know that whatever they did with my yard was with intent, because that's what they're going to try and do this year, within a year, I would suspect. They're going to put the 3 houses back up on sale to see if they can catch that big fish. And they're going to still ask for their $3 million, and they might get it because, as these guys are building their buildings, they're finishing their buildings, and now they're looking to buy more land to build, to tear and kick everybody out, right? And call it good business as they kick everybody out, knowing that there is no affordable housing, as they brag about building housing. Right? But it has to take an immigrant coming in from a different fucking country with either rich as a mother effer, or at least fully maxed out with the subsidies from the federal, provincial, and municipal governments in order to be able to pay for the 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom fucking condo that's $3,500 a month in rent. Yeah, okay, as if. Oh yeah, what do they do for employment? Anyway, either or. So, yeah, no, I just told Tisha, I can't. I got my own problems. I got to think about the day when the axe comes flying down and I have to escape. Right? One way or another, I'm going to have to escape. Where I'm escaping to, I don't know. I just know that I can't really depend on anybody to help me get there, so I need money to be able to hire people to come and pack up ASAP as fast as you can. Load it up on a fucking truck, and if I have to go into a 2-bedroom basement suite by myself with Amari and Andre, I will. And yeah, Andre wants to stay with me. Yeah. I already asked him. So, And then what do I get? I'll get something like what Ria's got. A mouse-infested 2-bedroom basement that's no bigger than a garage for some people. Because you know, when you get into those monster homes, those garages are the same square footage oftentimes for what it is that you get to live with. Or at least a good half. Well, more than half, really. Oh, yeah. Anyway, not complaining. I had a good day. God was with me. Stick your hand in there, Judy. You got nothing to lose. No, come on. Just close your eyes and feel around. Oh, please, God, just make it fit. I'll be so happy. I won't have to dig around. I pull it out. I'm like, oh, maybe. Okay, well, I'll get to the stove. Oh, my God, people, I was in my glory. It's a hallelujah moment. Amazing grace. Like I'm telling you, it couldn't fit any better. I couldn't have asked for anything better. I was so happy. So that tells me that whatever I'm doing the right thing. And just to keep on plugging, not worry too much about what's going to happen in the future. But then on the other hand, you know, deal.
More is eight.
What did you feed him?
I just gave him banana and some rice pudding.
Okay.
Half a banana. Fine.
Okay, but that's constipating between the two of them. So.
I think you want a tiny bit more food, though.
Yeah, blueberries are all gone now, eh?
Not really. There's still some left.
Well,
For like later.
yeah, he needs them later.
Okay.
Yeah, there's asparagus in the fridge. I think vegetables. Okay? The next meal is vegetables. Yeah, very little of anything heavy because he's already constipated. You know, that's another thing you have to worry about. Oh, yeah, you know. Anyway. Okay, so there you go. End of this video. For what it's worth, right?